So today I'm going to make ketchup out of this. I think it's a Hayden mango from the looks of it. Maybe it's a Tommy Atkins. Tommy Atkins I think are a little bit more green though. So I think this is a Hayden mango, which is a very common mango variety in the United States. Maybe not the best one in the world, but it is one that is fairly decent, and it was also all that was available. So I'm going to take a recipe for ketchup that would normally use tomatoes, replace those tomatoes with this mango. And I'm also going to make a few little tweaks this time to this particular recipe, and I think they should give some pretty good results. So let's give it a try. So here are the ingredients. First we have the mango. This is about 2 cups of chopped mango. As you can see here, that mango has its skin on it. You can actually eat mango skin. It doesn't taste especially great. It's kind of tough. But you could totally eat it, and in the purposes of making a ketchup, it doesn't matter if you peel it or not, so I left it on just to be lazy. So there you go. Next we have brown sugar. This is 3 tablespoons of light brown sugar, 1 small onion, and 1 clove of garlic, all diced. This is spices. There's 1 clove. There are 2 allspice berries, about a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, pinch of celery seed. Oh, here's one that's pretty interesting. I put 1/2 teaspoon of mango powder. Now, mango powder is where you take dried green mangoes and then you grind it into a powder. And in India and some other parts of the world, green mangoes are used as a souring agent. So mangoes and mangoes gotta go well together, right? And of course, there's probably some other stuff in there that I'm forgetting. In here, there is 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Now that lemon juice, also something I haven't done before, and it's for the same reason. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit more sour and a little bit more sweet than usual. Okay, I'm going to put this pot on a medium heat and just throw in a little splash of oil just so the ingredients don't burn. By the way, I should give this just a review on its own, shouldn't I? So I'm going to eat it actually with the skin on it. Pretty good. It's a little bit piney, and I think that's because of the skin, not because of the flesh. Let me try a little piece of just flesh on its own. Yeah, the skin's a little bit piney. The flesh isn't. It's a very sweet mango. It's probably like an 8 out of 10. Not much tartness to it. The flavor on that is your typical mango flavor, like you'd get from drinking like mango juice or something like that. It's maybe a little bit nutty. It's got like a little bit of like a coconut cream kind of flavor in there. Not super remarkable, but a pretty decent mango. Alright, so first let's see if the oil is hot enough. Oh yeah. So the onion and garlic go in. Now that this is done, here's what you need. You need a glass or a blender, I suppose, to blend it up. I'm going to put it in here and use an immersion blender, which I have right here. Then the goop is going to go through a strainer. I'm going to push it through the strainer with this thing here. And then that is going to go through a funnel into this condiment dispenser. And this I'm going to have right now because I've been cooking ketchup for way too long. And yeah, so let's get to it. Oh yeah, it's great. This is actually incredibly thick, so I'm going to add some water to it. And this needs to go through here, which is probably going to suck pretty hard, but it'll work in time. I'm just going to push it through this little thing here, and eventually it will come out the other side. This is taking forever to go through here. I'm almost done, and what I've needed to do for this last bit, because I'm full of very stringy pulp and it's not going through, is I actually have been adding water directly to the strainer. So I'm second guessing the amount of water I put in this thing. Although the mangoes were pretty juicy and everything, I think I probably should have made it more liquidy just to get it through the strainer. And the good thing with that is that after you go through the strainer, if it's still too liquidy, if it's too watery and you want it a little thicker, you can put it back on the stove and cook it down a little bit. I probably should have done that because this is like a living hell. That, my dear friends, is a big wad of mango snot. In here, however, we have a pretty decent amount of ketchup, and it is a great consistency. It's maybe a little bit slimier than if you were to use a tomato. It's a little slick, but it looks about the right thickness and everything. So before I put this into this, I'm going to taste it just to be sure that the qualities are correct. Sweetness, sourness, saltiness, spiciness, stuff like that. I can always add to here and integrate it if it needs it. So this isn't really super accurate of what the final product will taste like, but it'll at least give me an idea. That is really, really, really good. That tastes really, really good. And it's not done yet. It needs to sit in the fridge. But all the qualities, the sourness, the saltiness, the spiciness, the sweetness, everything is excellent. And so what I'm going to do now is put this in here, and it's going to sit in the fridge overnight. That is really good. It looks like ketchup. I mean, it's yellow or orange, but the texture of it is right. Nice and thick. And it tastes like ketchup, like tomato ketchup, but it has such like a nice tropical fruit flavor in there too. What tomato ketchup gives you, that mango ketchup also gives you. That is really good. That works as a total replacement. I would happily dip French fries in that or put it on a burger. It's got the right sort of combination of sweetness and tartness and all of that. It definitely works as an alternative to tomato ketchup. It is different though, so let me see if I can get down to what makes it different. So I'm going to try it just on its own. It's sweeter than regular ketchup, but not so sweet that it wouldn't work for savory applications. If you were to give somebody this instead of ketchup, they would know that it was mango ketchup. It definitely has mangoes shining through. So you might not want to use it for everything that you would use ketchup on, because it does give it an extra flavor. But that flavor is really, really good. And I can't think of anything that this wouldn't go on that tomato ketchup would be better. It would just be different. So if you want to try making your own ketchup and you want to kind of spice it up a little bit, this gives you something different. I think putting this on like a burger would be incredible. Like that extra sweetness and that little bit of a tropical taste, that'd be really, really nice. And putting it just like on a hash brown like I did, it definitely brings something else to it, but it satisfies you in the same way that traditional tomato ketchup would. I say that this one is probably my favorite thing that I've made so far into ketchup. So I think that's about it. If you want to try doing this, I highly recommend giving it a try, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I want to give a special shout out to AltPod and Smarter Every Day. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. Patreon is how this channel happens. It's how I can afford to do all the things that I do. So if you want to help me out by supporting the channel and getting some bonuses along the way, check out the description. I also have these shirts for sale. Those are in the description as well. See you next time. Bye.